Thanks for stopping by today. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the likes and subscriptions that I've received in the last couple of months. Really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about having a project that's going to be bigger than what your laser bed is capable of, and how I handle that in LightBurn. There's some really cool features in LightBurn that I'm going to show you today that once you learn, you will absolutely love. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is our project that we've been asked to make. This particular box is made out of 1/8" plywood. It's got a window in it. It's 7 inches wide by 10 inches long by 9 inches high. They wanted a lid on it so they could go ahead and keep the dust out of it. It fits kind of in a unique little cubby hole. They wanted the box to be fairly light. Pretty simple, right? Here's the trick. Once we get this laid out in a box generated and get it downloaded to LightBurn, the pattern for this particular box is going to be bigger than the bed of our laser. And so how do we deal with that in LightBurn? I'm going to show you how. Okay, so let's show you the layout here. I've downloaded the pattern from the box generator, and I've rearranged the pieces a little bit just so it'll fit for the way we're going to go ahead and organize these cuts. And so a couple of things to think about. First of all, you'll notice that I have my parts and pieces for this box that I need to make are much larger than the bed of my laser. Now I have a Thunder Laser Nova 24 60 watt, and my bed is about 16 by 24. Okay, and so if for some reason I wanted to try to cut this out in one fell swoop, I couldn't do it, because if I under absolute coordinates and I just said, hey, you know, show me the piece, there's no way. Matter of fact, I would get a warning that I was outside of the bed of the laser. It wouldn't allow me to do it. So I can't do it this way. I'm going to have to slice these cuts up some way. Couple of options you have is you could take this area down here, turn it a different color, turn that particular layer off, and then cut this layer, and then use another layer, move this out of the way, put it in. But that can be confusing sometimes, because the more layers you have that are doing the same thing, more chance that you might make a mistake. I personally like to have all my cut layers on one layer. And that way I know, first of all, I don't have a bunch of layers here that I have to kind of wade through. But there's a lot of different options in LightBurn to get this job done in a really easy way. So you could generate an additional layer, color it differently. My preferred method, and one of my favorite methods, is I'm going to leave all of this as a red layer. And you might be wondering, you know, well, how are you going to be able to do this? And I'll show you how. One of the features in LightBurn that I use almost on every project is called the Cut Selected Graphics. Okay, so once I have the Cut Selected Graphics button turned on, and again, I use this all the time. This is one of my favorite features of LightBurn, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn this to user origin. I'm going to go in the top left hand corner. Now if you don't have a Thunder, you might want, but you can select pretty much any corner you want. This is personal preference. I'm going to select upper left hand corner, and you'll notice now that that green dot has showed up in the upper left hand corner of where my work starts. And so one of the things you got to be careful of, and this catches me on occasion, is always pay attention to this green dot. It should be in the very corner of where you want your work to start. If I take this graphic that I'm not cutting out, and you notice that it's turned off, and I move that up, watch what this green dot does. Now it moves off your work. And so when you're trying to cut something the size of your laser bed, you got to be very careful about kind of where these are at. So just remember, even though they are turned off, they will affect where your origin your user origin is going to be. So if I selected my user origin and I left it like this, that laser head is going to drop down that much before it starts to do its cut, which will make your cut way off in your laser bed. So, you know, a lot of us have a lot of things kind of on the side. You just got to make sure that it's not affecting where your origin lies. So just always pay attention to that green dot when you're using user origin. Okay, so once I've got user origin, I've set it basically right here in the corner of my piece of 15 by 24 or 12 by 24 Baltic birch plywood. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave all these alone. You notice that we've got just one single red layer. I've got it turned on to cut. And because I've got the Cut Selected Graphics radio button on now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just select that top section. And then if I preview it, you'll notice that it just gives me that top section that it's going to cut. It completely ignores all of these red parts down here. Okay, so what I would normally do is I would go ahead and send that to the laser, cut it out, and then what I would do is once that's all cut out, I would come over here. This is grouped together. I would move this out of the way. I would grab this, pull this up and in. I would select this, preview it, make sure that it works. Boom, there it is. Go ahead and send it to the laser. And now I've had the ability to go ahead and cut all these parts out with the same layer. So now that I've got these parts cut out and these parts cut out, I've got the window to cut out. This is a PETG. It's a little thin plastic film. I'm going to drag this over here. I'm going to load my PETG, refocus my laser, right? And what I'm going to do is turn this off and my blue layer on now and select it. And because Cut Selected Graphics is on there, you'll notice now, even though I've got all these other things on my screen, it's only going to pay attention to what I've got selected. Okay? And boom, now I'm done. Here's the other reason why I really like this feature. And I had this happen to me not too long ago. Let's turn that on and that back off, and I'll take this and move this back like I'm going to cut it again. What's really nice about having the Cut Selected Graphics radio button on is, let's say that I cut this out, but I forgot to select this window. So in other words, if I come in here, this is what happened. Okay, so I've got it ungrouped, and let me show you what happened. I'm going to just go ahead and select these individually. And I previewed it, and I cut it out. The only problem is I forgot this window wasn't selected. So when the laser was all done, I realized that the window, this hole that's supposed to be right here for the window, wasn't selected. Well, it was no problem at all, because what I could do now is deselect everything else, only select the window, leave everything alone, don't touch it in the laser, preview it, and now I can go back and cut that part that I missed before with no problem. So the beauty of that is, let's say you got a piece of your pattern that isn't cut out as far as it needs to be. It didn't cut all the way through. The nice thing about that is, if you have to, you can ungroup that and select that one line that didn't cut out well, and only that line, and reselect it and relaser it, and that way you've saved that pattern. A very useful thing to use with this Cut Selected. Now, for some reason, you don't select anything and you got this Cut Selected Graphics on, it's going to tell you, hey, I'm not cutting anything out because you have no selection made. So just keep that in mind. It's a great feature, use it all the time, and you can see you can have all kinds of things on your whiteboard here, and you're just dragging them over, selecting them, and then cutting them. It's pretty fast and efficient. Initially, before I learned this feature, I would make 2 different files, I would make different layers, and it was a pretty inefficient use of my time. So that's probably one of the biggest features that I really like about LightBurn. Okay, so another feature in LightBurn that I really like that I don't see talked about much, and I use it for several different things, but we all know when we're making files, maybe we're making something that we haven't made before, we're making lots of notes, we might have some links or some websites that we've gone to for files or some graphics or whatever it might be. If you come up here to File and Show Notes, you have the ability to kind of key all this stuff in. Matter of fact, I'll show you that if you click on this little radio button, the next time you open this file, this will pop up automatically. What I use it for is just some basic specifics. Size of the job, maybe if there's a customer approval provided, the information that I needed. So right here, these are web links. Now, it won't link you, but if you come in here and you copy that and go into your web browser and paste it, it'll take you to right where I needed to be for the particular PETG that I bought. So you can go ahead and copy and paste your web links in here. I've got where I bought the PETG. I've got what box maker I used and which particular box I used. So if I've got to either change the size of this file or maybe recreate another one in a different size, I don't have to remember, gee, where did I go get that? Or, what program did I use that worked so well? I can just go ahead and copy this and paste it in your web browser and hit enter, and away you go. It's a great feature. And then, if you save this file and I just get out of that and then want to get into a new one, you notice that it pops up automatically when you have this radio button selected. Another great feature, just another place that you can go ahead and put some verbiage. A lot of times before I found this, I was typing in all kinds of text here. Well, the problem with that is it gets in the way and it can affect where your user origin is going to be depending on where it is on your file. So try this note section out, and it's pretty cool. I really like it. Again, it's under File. And if there isn't any notes in there, it'll be great. You'll just have to select it the first time. If it's highlighted like this, that means that you have notes in that particular file. Anyway, a couple of different things that I use in LightBurn to help me be a little bit more efficient. Handle jobs that are bigger than the bed of my laser. Well, as you can see, the cut selected graphics and the notes feature in LightBurn really can go a long way to take a project like this. It's a little bigger than the bed of your laser and make it easy to cut out and be able to make bigger projects. I hope you enjoyed the information. Until next time, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.